Hello, David Akubian, Bear Woods Photography. I want to take just a few minutes and just do a quick demonstration on neutral density filters, what kind there are, and what the different purposes that they do. So first I'm going to show you just what a neutral density filter, something you stick on the front of your lens to slow down your exposure so you can shoot at a slower exposure, wider aperture, whatever the case may be. Portrait photographers use it different than landscape photographers. Videographers use it for a completely different reason as well. So first we're going to take a look at neutral density filters and what they do. You can see this light that's coming up and hitting me in the face. This is what's known as a light box. For you digital photographers that never shot film, you probably don't know what those are, but we used to put our slides and our negatives on there so we could take a look at them before we would print them or something. So let's take a look at neutral density filters first. Okay, so I've changed the exposure on the video so you can see what I'm doing on the light box itself. So these are just three cheap filters that I got years and years ago, never opened them up or anything else. But I wanted to show you the importance of putting the money into a good filter. These, when they're sitting here, they look fairly normal, but when you put a higher end one beside it, you can see that there's actually a density color shift. That whereas these are like truly just neutral in their gray, these tend to have a little bit of a shift. This one has a little bit of a green, this has a little bit of a blue, this one's more neutral as well, which is okay, but it's important to pick those out as you're going in and you want to verify that when you're getting a neutral density filter, they are actually neutral. So again, you just simply put those in front of your lens. It slows your exposure down, or it allows you to shoot at a wider f-stop. Whatever you're doing, the video, it's going to be a little bit different. Just a neutral density just makes your exposure to have less light come in, and that's all. So now let's take a look at graduated neutral density filters. Okay, so now let's take a look at the graduated neutral density filter, just your basic graduated neutral density. Both of these are two stops, so if you look though, they look very, very different. This one has a soft edge, this one has a hard edge. If you're shooting and you need that graduation to be slower or less distinct, you have a horizon line, you want it to be harder, that's why you would get a hard edge versus the soft edge. Both of these are the same density. They're two stops, but a hard edge versus a soft edge are the only differences here. So you need to make sure that if you're using a hard edge, you've got a distinct horizon line, and you may need to do an image or two to make sure that you've got that line right where you want it, not above or below or anything else. To keep in mind that when you're shooting at f5.6, that line is going to be less distinct than it is at f11 or f16. So the higher the f-stop, the more distinct that line is going to appear because it's stopping down and it's making it more distinct. This is going to give you a less feeling. So if you're shooting at f16 or something, you may choose a soft edge versus a hard edge. I typically shoot at about f8, so I like that hard edge. That's what I'm going to take to Iceland with me, is the two-stop hard edge. And I'm also going to be taking a reverse graduated neutral density, which we'll take a look at those now. I'm going to slide these up here. And then we're going to put the reverse neutral density filters in here as well. So here I've got a two-stop reverse, and then I've got a three-stop reverse. And you can see the density difference in the two of these. Now, the time that you would use a reverse neutral density filter, graduated neutral density filter, is sunrise, sunset, when the sun is just at that horizon, and that's the brightest part of your frame. So I am taking these two filters to Iceland because when the sun is down that low, it's going to be pretty bright on the horizon line, and I want to try to equal that exposure out a little bit. You can do a lot of this in post-processing, but I tend to like to try, when possible, to get some of it done in camera, and it just makes my processing a little bit easier. If I've got a lot of ridge lines and everything else, that there's not a smooth edge, I'll try to do it in post possibly, because it just makes it look more natural. But this is a way to speed up your post-processing time and to get a natural effect in the field. So just to sum up sort of what I've done, this has been very, very brief. There are two types of graduated neutral density filters. There's regular graduated, soft and hard edge, and that just means the graduation line is softer or harder. Then there's reverse, where the brightest part is on the horizon line. So you've got the foreground, you've got your horizon line, and then it graduates up to a sky. So there's a 3 and a 2 stop. I tend to use the 3 stop reverse, and depending upon the situation I'm in, I'll use the 2 stop hard or the 2 stop soft. But in this case in Iceland, I'm going to take the 3 stop hard reverse and the 2 stop hard, the 3 stop reverse, and then the 2 stop hard, because we're going to have distinct horizon lines, and that's what I'm going to be shooting with. So I'll be shooting at about f8. Anything beyond that starts to make that graduation line look more distinct, and there's more margin for error, and there's stuff to look for. So I don't shoot f16, f11 when I'm shooting with the graduated filters, because it's just another factor that you have to work into it. If you're someone who shoots f16, f22, go ahead and look at a soft edge versus the hard edge. It's going to do you better. So anyhow, again, reverse graduate it, regular neutral density filters, just whatever you're going to do a little bit of study, make sure that they're actually neutral in density, that they don't have that color shift that some of these had on them. You'll really regret not putting the money into a good filter. Another reason I like the H&Y, it's Gorilla Glass, the Corningware Gorilla Glass. It's going to be a lot more durable. I'm not going to be worried about if I'm cold, I drop it or something like that, damaging the filter. These things are going to be good. So anyhow, if you have any questions, definitely put that down in the comments. If you are wondering specifically about a filter, if I know anything about it, I'll let you know. But go ahead and put that down there. So that's the lesson on graduated neutral density filters. So I hope this was somewhat helpful for you if you're looking into filters, neutral density, graduated neutral density. It's fairly simple once you learn the difference of soft and hard edge and reverse and everything else. Just finding the density that you need is the big thing, and making sure you're putting money into a decent filter, because you want to put good filters in front of good glass. The multi-coatings and everything else need to try to match that. Otherwise you start to get flare and some other things, or weird color shifts. So just put a little bit of research into it. And again, I mentioned it earlier, but if you have any questions, go ahead and put those down into the comments, and I will definitely get back to you. And all of this is my opinion, of course. I don't do scientific testing, more so than just putting it onto the light box. If you like the content of the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you don't subscribe to my videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you would like, go ahead and ring the bell down there and get notifications every time I post the new video. But for now, thank you very much and have a great day.